Welcome back to Alan's Trains. This video will cover calibrating the Cricut Maker 3, and it is an update of the previous video that I did, as the menu system has changed within the software provided with the machine. I'll also show you some of the other changes that have occurred as we go through. Hope this helps. Thank you. So let's get started on calibrating the machine. The menu has changed within the software. So if you go to the top right hand side of the screen where your name should be and your profile outline, just click on the profile outline and you will find a menu with settings. Click on settings. This will show you a few things. It will show you a little bit of information about the machine. It will also then show you the things that you can do, which is to set it up if it's a new machine, update the firmware that makes sure you've got the latest updates, the machine calibration and the machine care. In this instance, there is no machine care needed so far with this machine, as it only deals with other machines. It also looks at custom material settings. So let's look at the machine calibration first. A couple of little tricks here. When you select your device and you tell it to start, you've got a choice of setting the rotary blade up, the knife blade, or print then cut. Now in my previous video I showed the print then cut, so I'm going to stick with that again, but it's fairly much the same with all of them. So we'll do print then cut. So the first thing is you select your printer, so make sure your printer's turned on and press print. It will then send it to the printer and print a page for you. Once the calibration sheet is printed, press continue. And you will see that you need to load the paper in the top left hand corner of your mat on the top and side cross lines. Then press continue. A little trick here. If you are using USB connection, which I recommend, click on the top and you change to your USB connection. Far more reliable in case you've got poor Wi-Fi. It will then tell you that you need the fine point blade in, load the mat and press the load unload button. The machine will now measure the material length to make sure that you've got the right size material fitted. It will then tell you to press go. And this will scan the calibration sheet. And this can take a little while. So I'll cut that bit out of the video. Just wait for it to scan the sheet. It will now move to the cutting phase, where it will cut the small square in the center of the page. And once it's done this, you then need to take a look at the cut that it's done with the small box right in the middle. They recommend you take a photo of the calibration on your smartphone and then zoom in, or if you've got good eyesight, a torch. And I can see that mine is not quite on the line. So we just say, does the cut line say no? And then press continue. The machine will now cut all of the lines along the top and all of the lines along the side. Again, you have to wait for this to complete. You now need to take a look and see which line aligns with the cut the best. On the top line and on mine, the best cut is on number 11. And on the right line, it's on G. Once you've put the information in, then press continue. Now you need to print another calibration sheet. So just press the unload button. and tell it to print another sheet. Same process as before, it will automatically send it to your printer and print the sheet for you. Once it's printed and you've put it back on the mat as it shows here, then press continue again. It tells you now to load the mat. It will now measure the length of the material. And then tell you to press go. It will now scan the calibration sheet much the same as previously. It will have now cut the smaller square on the material again, and we now need to look to see if it does cut the small square out perfectly. Mine says yes, so therefore we proceed to the fine calibration. It will now cut all of the lines once more. And again, we can now check the fine calibration and see if the lines align correctly. This time, mine says 11 and P. We can now press continue. The machine will now proceed to cut out the large square within the material. It will ask you now, are you satisfied with the cut? Again, don't remove from the machine. And in this case, mine is close enough to the center. So just say yes, press continue, and the calibration is now complete. Let's now take a look at some of the settings for pressures and number of cuts. And again, we're going to go to the Design Space Settings Machines and just click on the Custom Material Settings. Now again, you will have to support the USB, so select that. And it will bring all of the materials that this machine can cut. And as you can see, this is a very extensive list of material, which is quite surprising for the machine. Now, one of the things that we sometimes need to do is, if it doesn't cut through a particular material completely, you can then add the number of cuts that it makes with the multi-cut function. So we'll look at acetate. And we'll just say here, press the edit. Now, at the moment, the machine is set on its maximum 350 pressure and its cut is set at 3. But you can leave the pressure where it is, but you can actually increase the number of cuts. So instead of 3, you could make it 4, 5, 6, 7, until you find the setting that suits your machine and your material. If we take a look at another type of material and take a look at the knife blade, this is one that is going to cut basswood and it does 18 sweeps. Now, editing a knife blade is not allowed. In other words, whatever it says, that's where it's set. If we now look at a fine point blade again, which is in the butcher's paper, we can see that this is set at 80 and we can go to 350. We can't go under there. And in this case, the number of sweeps is off at the moment and you can put the number of sweeps that you want for that paper. So lots to play around with in there. And again, it is just practice until you find exactly what you want. So profile picture gets you to the settings, And there you can see the general settings, the machines, the canvas that you're using. Is it full grid, partial grid, or no grid? In other words, if you're using a vinyl material. Then you've got the default settings, which on this one are 30 by 30 or 30.5 by 30.5. And your print then cut page size is A4. And again, you can alter these to suit whatever material you're using. You can also alter the mat sizes. You can then go to the notifications and select which ones you want to look at. And then the system will tell you what amount of physical memory is in the system and how much is in the virtual memory system. I hope all these changes are clear to you, but if you've got any questions, put them in the comments on the YouTube, and hope you can subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching, and I hope all of this has helped.